Now at 6, calls for accountability.
Jayland was a sweet young man. He never caused any trouble.
Answers.
How these events took place leaves us with many, many, many questions.
And change.
Here we go again. This video is brought to you by TheOfficerTatumStore.com. TheOfficerTatumStore.com. Ladies and gentlemen, you better get your stuff. 4th of July sale, 20% off the entire store for the 4th of July Independence Day. But get all of your merch. Fathers Matter hats are off the chain. Jesus is Lord. The hat that I got on right now is going to be gone. You better get it now. We done already sold out of Make Men Men Again and Make America Godly Again and our magazines. But I have something for you. If you see something that's sold out, find the item, go to Notify Me When Made Available. Click on that, put your information in, and as soon as we restock, we normally restock in about a week or two. As soon as we restock, you will get the first notification so you won't miss the sellout ever again. Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notification anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Let's start with this shooting that happened in Akron, Ohio. You guys probably haven't heard of it yet, but you will hear of it soon because it's involving a black man and white police officers. And celebrities are coming out, and I call them celebrities. They're really not worth a hill of beans, but for whatever reason, they're considered to be celebrities because they push this agenda that America is a racist place and black people should be afraid of white people every day they wake up in the morning, especially white police officers. Young man, Jayland Walker. Keep that name in your mind, Jayland Walker. The fake black man, Sean King, who he's a white man. He's not a black man. I don't know why black people are giving him any credence or credit, and him talking on black issues is absolutely asinine to me when they bash every other white person, but they don't bash Sean King. Just because he got an edge up in a taper fade don't make you a black man. Now, I want to read you what he said, and then we're going to read the facts surrounding this case. I'm going to read you what he said, read the facts, and I don't know how on God's green earth Sean King has been sued in some form of a class action lawsuit because all he do is peddle lies to create controversy and hatred in our country against police. Literally, I could argue that Sean King is literally getting black men murdered almost every other weekend by police officers. Let's read what he said. In his Instagram statement, he got a picture of this kid, Jayland Walker. And Jayland Walker, from my understanding, was a grown man. And they took a picture of him when he was in middle school because they don't want you to see what Jayland probably looked like today. He probably looked like a gang-banging thug. But they don't want you to see him that way. They want you to see him as a little bitty kid that was doing nothing wrong driving the Uber. So let me read the statement. He said, I just learned the police in Akron, Ohio murdered this young brother. A sweet soul. Now, you know, he ain't met that boy a day in his life. A sweet soul. A DoorDash driver. In brutal fashion, the most brutal fashion I've ever seen. 8 police officers and 7, which were white, fired a staggering 90 bullets at Jayland, shooting him at least 60 times in his face, chest, legs, back, feet, and everywhere else that you can think of. He goes down to say that they shot him 60 times. His body was mutilated as mutilated as a body could be. He was unarmed. Police claim they originally pulled him over for a traffic violation. Now, all of that social justice warrior BS. Now, let's read what the police report says and what the article on the local news says, which I think is probably a lot more accurate. It says one person was shot dead by Akron police on Monday morning following a car chase that started in the city of North Hills neighborhood and ended in the Firestone Park. The man, who has not been identified, now this happened immediately, so they've been able to identify him as Jayland Walker, but he was speaking about the man who wasn't identified. It says the man who had jumped out of his moving car at the time was in a parking lot, and a witness came forward and said that they heard about 30 to 45 shots. Now, this is not verified. This is a person saying that this is what they believe they heard. And the witness statement was that I heard 2 shots, and then I heard a bunch of police cars going down the road, he was talking about how he could see the road from where his house was at, and he ended up making it down to the scene, and they had it all taped off. He said he heard probably 30 to 40 shots. Let me go down to where the police have made their statement. They're going to release the body-worn camera in the next couple of days. I think new reports are saying that they're going to release the body-worn camera footage on Sunday. Why are they doing that, Mr. Tatum? Because they probably believe there's nothing to hide. And then I'm going to get to my commentary as soon as I finish reading this. It says this is the third fatal shooting involving the police in just 6 months. Now let's talk about these police shootings in just 6 months. The first scene was two officers. It says two officers. It says shocked and then fatally shot 58-year-old James Gross in his head and neck on December the 23rd. Why did they shoot him in the head, Mr. Tatum? Because he was holding a knife to his estranged wife's throat and ended up getting shot to death. Then they had another person who was killed, and this person was black, 21-year-old Lawrence Rogers. What was Lawrence Rogers doing, Brandon Tatum? He was ordered to drop his handgun, which officer said that he leveled the handgun at the police officer and was shot and killed by police. Those are the other two incidents. Now, let me talk about this whole thing and why I'm so mad and it frustrates me. The ignorance of people of color in America. Not all, but the ignorance is staggering to me. Why do we see this time and time again? I have not one time seen a white person, an Asian person, a Mexican person come out and protest and burn down the community because a thug ended up getting shot by police after taking him on a high-speed chase, jumping out of his car while it was moving, and ended up becoming a deadly threat. Now, use your common sense. Do you think these cops just shot him because he was black? Come on. Why do you think he was being chased by police? Because he had a taillight out? Okay, how was there 6 or 7 police officers at the scene that ended up resulting in them shooting him? Okay. I think Stevie Wonder can see that this was way more of a bigger situation than what people are giving it credit to. But my thing is that I am just tired of seeing day in and day out these thugs getting killed by police. 99.9% of them are justifiable uses of force, and people are protesting and burning down cities. People like Sean King know better, but they get online and they spew hatred and lies. It shot him 90 times. 90 times. Let me do the math. Now, my math game ain't great, but I'm finna do it on my phone while I'm listening to you guys. He said he shot him over 90 times, 7 officers. That means 7 officers literally emptied out their clip all at the same time to shoot 90 rounds. They have about 15, 16. That means that each of them shot about 12.8 bullets, which is, let's say, 13 bullets. You know how many times that's bang, 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 bang. Now, I probably didn't do 13, but you know that's how many bangs I did. That's a lot of bangs. You telling me that 7 officers had to go bang, 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 bang like that? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But why is it that every time these situations happen, they go and burn down the community and protest? But then in that same community, a black man can be murdered by another black man, or a black woman can be murdered by, like, for instance, I think this was in New York. Young lady pushing a stroller down the street, got into a confrontation with her baby daddy, and he smoked her. I believe in broad daylight. Where's the protest? Where's the crying and screaming and burning down the community over the death of that innocent young woman who was pushing her baby in a stroller? Oh, yeah, it don't matter. Oh, I forgot. It wasn't police officers, and he wasn't a thug, and she wasn't a thug. But this kid supposedly got pulled over at 12:30 a.m. That's in the middle of the night. What justification do you have for fleeing police? What justification? I've been black my whole life, and not one time have I ever imagined that it's totally normal to flee from police officers. What are you fleeing for? If you didn't do nothing, what are you fleeing for? And once you flee, other reports, and my wife did the research on this, other reports say that he while he was fleeing, he took the gun out and started firing at cops out the window. If you ain't do nothing, good innocent soul A cop simply pull you over on a traffic stop and you take them on a high-speed chase and you shoot at them, and then you jump out of your car while it's still rolling. Can somebody explain this to me? How are you an innocent soul? Why are people out protesting for you and burning their own community down for a person who's a thug? I understand why people are sick and tired of dealing with these types of black people in our country. You know, these people get off on lying and betraying our country by creating and stoking racial division. Shaun King isn't the only one. I guarantee you Benjamin Crump is going to be headed down there on a first class, not first class, baby. You got it wrong. Not for a private jet. Headed down there to Akron, Ohio on a private jet. You wouldn't be surprised if LeBron James pipe up and say something about this situation. Instead of them waiting for facts to come out, they're going to paint it as a racial picture. Listen, man, white people ain't worried about black people like they say. I don't know a white person that sit around and is worried about what black people are doing. You show me a white man that's worried about black folks. Do y'all want to be real for a minute? You want to be real for a minute? Look at generational wealth. Why in the world would white people be so concerned about black people when the comparison of generational wealth ain't even close? Look at the circulation of the dollar in the black community compared to the white community. You think white people worried about you? They sitting losing sleep overnight because black people finally got cars to drive. White folks ain't worried about black people. Are there some redneck racists somewhere in a cornfield with hoodies on? Yes. Are there some people that are prejudiced and racist? Yes. But by and large, this country is not a racist country. And every single police officer ain't worried about you because you black. Stop committing crimes. Stop taking police on a high-speed chase. Stop pulling guns on police officers. And then maybe you won't have a problem with cops. Stop killing each other. Then maybe the cops won't be in your neighborhood so much. I grew up in a black neighborhood. People need to stop lying. Black folks, not all, but there's a lot of them, are the most disingenuous people that I have ever met in my life. People talk about racism. When I was growing up, the racist things that people used to say in the black community about white people and about Mexican people will blow your mind. Every word out of people's mouth was negative towards white folks, negative towards Hispanic folks. You talk about racial slur, you talk about the N-word, where there's comparable words to say negative things about white people and Hispanic people. And anybody that grew up in a black neighborhood know exactly the words I'm talking about. I ain't no white people. It wasn't no white people roaming around in the hood. Well, who's the problem in the hood? My mama never told me, oh, you got to watch out for them white people. You can't go on Lil John with those red shoestrings in your shoes because a white man going to come and kill you. Now, there's a BB gun left in my cousin's front yard. It could have been a thug throwing it in there because they were running from the police. In my cousin's front yard, BB gun looked like a real gun. Mama said, you better not go outside with that BB gun. Somebody may think you a gangbanger. Who was my mama talking about? My mama talking about another black man that may think I'm thugging and it's gonna shoot up the house because I got a gun out. Lil John, red shoestrings. It wasn't the police worried about that I had red shoestrings in my New Jordans. It was other black people gang banging, Crips and Bloods. I get so sick of it. Our country would be so far beyond racism if liars and deceivers would shut their mouths and move on. If you cannot unequivocally prove that it's racial, then you need to shut your mouth. George Floyd wasn't a racist encounter. There's no evidence that George Floyd was a racial encounter. Chauvin had a decent conversation with George Floyd before his death. The police ain't just got some Doppler radar going off saying, where's the N-words at? Let's go find them so we can hunt them down and shoot them. No, fool. You went to the store, use fake money. and the clerk in there was black and had to call the police on you. And then you don't just get in the car and take your discipline, which you can fight it in court. No, you want to fight the cops and throw yourself out the cop car and resist arrest. Now, does a man deserve to die? Obviously not. But your decision making and your actions lead to unfortunate situations for you. When I was a police officer, not one time in my entire career did I think about a person's race. Not one cop that I ever met was a racist. People are living in la la land. Could there be some racist cops? Yes, there's racist everything. Somebody somewhere is still stupid. But by and large, cops ain't worrying about your race. That is the last thing on a cop's mind, is worrying about your race. Because everybody's crazy. Everybody's crazy. You're not going to pull a white man over and say, you know what? I'm just going to let my guard down and I'm not going to even look twice. I'm not going to ask him if he have a gun in the car. Why? Because he's white. Even though I know that white people shoot cops more than anybody else, if you look at the totality of numbers. Oh, but because he's white. I'm going to put down my safety of my fellow officers and myself, and I'm a risk not going home to my kids because he's white. And that's the only reason why. I don't care if he shoot and kill me because he ain't black. I'm not going to pursue anything that makes any sense to protect myself and my other officers. Do you think people are that stupid? It is mind-blowing to me that people believe this stuff without any evidence. That the cops just stood around and shot a man 60, 70 times. He was a Lyft driver. And he wasn't even doing nothing. He didn't have a gun. God, I can't stand these people. I can't stand some of these people. They literally make our country go downhill. And I'm glad that there's good black people in the world, because then, therefore, people don't think we all crazy. Anyway, you listen to the Austin Tatum Show. Hold the phone. I'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the Austin Tatum Show. I'm still talking about this Akron shooting. I think it's invaluable to keep talking about. The kid name was Jayland Walker. I cannot wait to see an actual picture of Jayland Walker as an adult. They always put these people's pictures out, and they make them look like innocent little boys. George Floyd was doing porn. They didn't put that picture out there, did they? George Floyd went to jail I don't know how many times. One of them was for doing a home invasion and putting a gun to the stomach of a pregnant woman who was a Latina, a person of color. They don't show his mugshot. They show some picture of him standing in front of a building looking like he's a saint. This dude was a crackhead. And I'm not saying you can't, but keep it real. Keep it real. They're building a narrative. Every single time a black man gets shot, they put a picture of him in high school. You ain't got to lie. Keep it real. It can be an unjustified shooting, but God dog, do you got to lie about the man? We need to see the context, right? Because a black man growing up in this country, becoming of age, get a job at Lyft or a DoorDash, he may think the cops are just shoot and kill me for no reason because I'm a black man. Because they're painting the picture he was just doing DoorDash. And they're not telling you that the boy took him on a high-speed chase, shot a gun at the police officers from his window, took him on a several-minute high-speed chase. He jumps out of the car while I was rolling and ended up getting into a deadly force situation. Not one smart black person would ever be in that situation. Not one. Not one. There is not one excuse you can tell me that you would shoot a gun at police officers out of your car. What excuse do you have that will justify shooting a gun at police officers? What excuse do you have to take police on a high-speed chase? Nobody can say, I was afraid. So you're not afraid taking him on a high-speed chase going at high rates of speed, potentially putting other drivers in danger? You're not afraid by shooting a gun at the cops? Y'all, I'm so upset with this. I see a picture of their mom and them at a press conference. Why y'all got to be fake? We need justice for Jayland. No, justice for Jayland was telling that boy he shouldn't be committing crimes. Where's his daddy at? Okay. I bet you if I see a picture at the press conference, his daddy ain't nowhere to be found. I'll look at it on the internet right now. I see a, and I don't know who these people are. I see a black woman in the middle holding a mic. I see a white man holding his picture, and Jayland is a black man. I see a older lady, look like grandma, sitting down. I see another lady next to her, and then I see a black man next to them in a suit and tie, look like a pastor. That may be his daddy. But, man, explain this to me. There's no way in the world my son would end up like this. And if he does, you ain't going to see me getting on TV talking about justice for my son. He ain't had no business doing that. But people can't keep it real. We can't keep it real. A black man can never be wrong in this situation if it's involving a shooting and white people. I'm like, I think I'm more sick of this than just about anybody else. I'm absolutely sick of it. We could actually change things if people wouldn't have the audacity to just lie. Flat out lying. They know exactly. I guarantee the police department already showed the family the body-worn footage. And the family know exactly what their kid was doing, and they're going to get out and take the mic and say he was a good kid, he didn't do nothing wrong, and they want justice. And they watched the body-worn footage, the body camera footage, the dash cam footage, and they saw the boy shooting at the cops. But they ain't going to never say that on news. Benjamin Crump going to fly down there, and they're going to get an $8 million settlement. What world are we living in? A black man that's doing the right thing, that's got an education, that's going out and pursuing the American dream, giving back to the community, he will never get the publicity of a thug getting killed by the police. Never. You will never see a T-shirt. You will never see a T-shirt. You will never see admiration from Black Lives Matter or nobody else. That brother is good as dead.